Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're back with Superfilm support. Remember, you can go to superfilmsupport.com, ask me any film question, I'll answer you here on a video on YouTube. So today's question actually went through my website. I also answer through there, but it makes it a little bit more work for me. And it's from Raphael, and he's asking about 4x5, well, actually large format. He says, I'm about to invest in a large format camera and have a few questions. You mentioned the best lens for portraits, and I'm looking to buy one that I can use indoor with flash. Can you recommend one? And then he also asked, I absolutely love the picture of Bettina Rheims from her series Heroines. The quality, the framing, it's exactly what I'm after. Would you know what kind of lens and setup? So I'm going to start with the question about large format. If you're getting into 4x5, usually portrait lenses, and I say usually, it doesn't mean it always has to be like this, usually goes from around 180 to 210 to around 300 mil. So you would want to get something like that. One thing to take note is the 180 into 210s, the 5.6s are usually on a Copal 1 shutter, which is pretty small, nice and compact, and it also does a shutter speed of around 1/400th or 1/500th. But if you're going for a 240 mil, if you go 5.6, it's going to be a Copal 3. It's big, slow at max shutter speed of 1/125th. And if you go to 240, but you want a small lens, you can go for an f9. That will be on a Copal 1. I have a few. They're really good lenses. Then if you're going to a 300, same thing. 5.6 is really big in the Copal 3. They also do f9s or f8.5s, which would be in a Copal 1. Then if you're going to 5x7, just push it up a little bit more. So let's say a 210 to 360. Same rules apply, but on the 360, you only have usually very big lenses unless you're going for an f9, which they're not so common, but there's some. And then if you're going 8x10, let's say you're going through 300 all the way to 600, usually also big lenses, big Copals, slow shutters. Good thing is they all sync at all speeds of flash. If they're in a Copal shutter or Portra shutter, like I have here, they will sync at all speeds. So be it 1/500th or 1/25th, it'll sync. So there's no problem with that compared to a focal plane shutter in digital cameras or some SLRs. So then you are asking which ones I recommend. I always recommend to go, for example, for the 210 on 4x5. It's a very good lens. They're super available. And the best of the best is the run stock Heroines S, which has the red ring. Those are really, really nice, but they go for around 1,000 plus. So unless you really need that extreme sharpness and apochromatic aberration correction, I would suggest that you go for the N, which is much cheaper, usually 300 to 600 euros or dollars, give or take. And these are really, really sharp lenses. You won't notice a difference unless you're doing some massive blow up prints and so on in color. Of course, in black and white, it'll be also a little sharper, but you know what I mean. Then I won't say that a 210 normal Heroines, Rodenstock, Schneider, Nikkor, or Fuji will be unsharp. It'll just be maybe a little bit less, but Fuji glass is also extremely good, and Nikon. There's no real bad glass in large format. So in that recommendation, 210, 240, I would stick to 210 because they're super widely available, plus a 5.6 will be in a smaller shutter, which makes it much easier. Then you're asking about the work of Bettina. Honestly, I've been checking the work online. There's not a lot of information. There's a few shots on Google. I would say her setup is probably 4x5. Her lens is probably something between 150 and a 240, depending on the shots. But I could say that a 150 to 210 are probably there. Some are 210, some are 150. But the biggest difference when you're shooting in large format or any format is lighting. Her lighting is spot on. It's really soft, it's really big, and it's really well done. That is what makes it or breaks it on any format. I've shot with professional photographers on 8x10 with professional lighting setups, and honestly, the quality is amazing. Your lens can be the best, but if your lighting is bad, it's going to be horrendous. Your lens could be not the best, but if your lighting is good, the image will probably look really good. So in this case, that's what I mean. Like if you can have this Heroines S, which is one of the best. I've taken lots of portraits, usually mundane, because my lighting is not perfect. So if you're really going for that look that they have in that series, you're going to be shooting color, you're going to be shooting with huge soft boxes and maybe with double filtration, so like you'll lose a ton of light. and also step down as much as you can. Usually from what I saw in the portraits, they're stepped down quite a bit, so f11, f16, and so on. So I would say if you're getting into large format and you're new to the format, maybe if you have medium format, try investing first on lighting. You could get a Mamiya RZ67 or an RB67 or anything that's 6.7 and shoot this same sort of work with medium format and invest in lighting. But that's my opinion. I honestly think that you can achieve great results on 6x7 if you don't need movements, instead of getting into 4x5, which is a new format for you, I'm assuming for you, and everything is different and the workflow is really slow. It is very precise, but then you need models that know how to model for large format. Believe me, it's really not easy to model for large format. You have to be very still and still look natural. You have to make sure that they're staying in an exact position, give them, you know, time to load and unload, and also practice a lot. So if you're getting into it, I would suggest lighting as being the most important part of this series, and then learning, you know, your tools. So like get very used to shooting large format, being fast. One thing I've done many times, I actually one time shot a series of 100 portraits on 8x10 in a day, and I actually shot doubles, so I shot actually 200 portraits in 24 hours, and I did that to basically learn how to compose, focus, and shoot in the least amount of time per subject. This was more of like a practice to get comfortable with my 8x10, but basically from when you compose and you close the shutter till you load the film holder and you take the shot, you don't want more than 10-15 seconds to go unless you have models that know what they're doing. So it's very, very important to be very fast and comfortable with your tools. So yeah, I'm sorry if I rambled a little bit in this Superfilm support. I just wanted to, you know, give my best suggestion on how to do it. I'm also guessing if anybody knows what Bettina did use on camera or lens or lighting, but I bet you that these studio shots are done with a ton of lighting and a lot of like filtration of the lighting, so the light is very, very soft, just sort of like what I have right now, which you could tell that it's a very soft. I have here a softbox out of frame that you can't see, but basically that sort of setup. But sometimes dual softboxes. I've seen people bouncing lights to a massive light source, just like a movie. So yeah, that's what I suggest. That was Superfilm support. As always, remember Superfilm support is here thanks to you guys, Patreons and donors. So I'll leave the link below if you feel like helping out. Instead of buying a lens, maybe you want to donate or help a little bit, or if I helped you save a couple bucks here and there, it does help. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next one. Bye.